Oh, welcome back to the Superhero Show. Daniel and Chris here, and since we last saw you, Deadpool's made all the money in the world, it seems. Good luck, Batman v Superman.
Yeah, more money in its opening weekend than the Wolverine made altogether. More money than Man of Steel in its opening weekend.
Yeah, and you think...
That's mad.
You think more people might know who Superman is?
Yeah.
And the movie's really good, it's really fun. We discussed it last week if you want to go back and hear our thoughts at length. And just a brilliant marketing campaign.
Brilliant marketing campaign, and it just proves that Deadpool is a bigger and better character than Superman. That is a fact.
You can't argue against it.
But we also got some emails following that opening weekend. One from Ryan Donaldson who says, I was wondering, since Deadpool has enjoyed such great success on his film, do you think it'll likely see much more R-rated superhero films planned in the near future? He's saying that Lobo is one that he's keen on. And Justin Hymer says, since Deadpool has earned a bit of dosh at the box office, what R-rated comic book adaptations would you fellas like to see on the big screen? I'm betting on a Dredd 2. And when we started figuring out this show, we talked about the fact there's a few R-rated films we would like to see. But then we got talking a little more, and is there a fear that Hollywood is just going to try and jump on this bandwagon and make a bunch of R-rated films, even when it's not necessary?
They shouldn't do. Yeah, I feel like the perception of Hollywood is, you know, they want to make money, and if they see another studio or another one of their films doing well for doing a certain thing, the easy conclusion might be it's because it was R-rated or because it did this one thing, rather than maybe seeing all the other factors that it has in its favour. So you would have, you don't want to extend this to across a lot of properties. It's like when superheroes went through that period of time of being, you want to be dark and gritty.
Yeah. That
doesn't suit certain superheroes,
no.
and I think we should be sorry it didn't suit the Fantastic Four.
Yep.
So I think you should use the X rating for the characters where it's most appropriate, and we've seen that elsewhere. If it was a movie, Daredevil would be R-rated, Punisher should be R-rated. Yeah. It makes total sense for that character. But I don't want to see an R-rated Captain America movie.
Well, I think there's two takeaways that Hollywood could have. One, oh, it was R-rated and that's why it was successful. Oh, it was fun, that's why it was successful. And I think there's a danger because the R rating, as you're kind of saying, is in service of the character and the ethos. I think it's the fun thing they've got to take away from it. Again, but that was in service of the character. Deadpool is a fun character
Enables
on the page.
Yeah.
He's a fun character on the screen. Did you see James Gunn's quotes in the week? Really interesting, because he got annoyed with a journalist at Deadline who said the reason Deadpool was, he quoted a suit, an unnamed suit, saying the reason Deadpool was successful was because it was irreverent and it poked fun at itself. And as Gunn said, he was trying to ignore the fact that he'd made Guardians of the Galaxy and Marvel have made Ant-Man and Iron Man and a bunch of films that aren't afraid to poke fun at themselves. But I've got the quotes here. He says, Deadpool was its own thing. That's what people are reacting to. It's original, it's damn good. It was made with love by the filmmakers and it wasn't afraid to take risks. For the theatrical experience to survive, spectacle films need to expand their definition of what they can be. They need to be unique and true voices of the filmmakers behind them. They can't just be copying what came before. And he's predicting, as we're kind of worried about here, that there'll just be a bunch of copycats.
Yeah, and you're right, he's totally right. You miss what is unique about that as a film. You know, it's not the first film, like, there's some people who are celebrating it as like, oh, it's really edgy, and it's really, I can't believe they did that. There's loads of films that have done similar things. Kick-Ass, I remember the first time I saw Kick-Ass, I think Kick-Ass is far more edgy. As a 12-year-old girl saying the C word and slicing people up, the bit where he gets stabbed, her father gets set on fire, like, that was a really shocking film in a way that I don't think anything Deadpool shocked me to the same level. But what's great about Deadpool is they trusted in that filmmaker and got behind him, and that's the lesson that people should be taking away.
Yeah, and I think another film that no one's really been name-checking is Super, which is even more extreme, funny enough, directed by James Gunn. And, you know, that's not to say there haven't been R-rated comic book movies before as well. There's been The Punisher, you know, the 3 Punisher movies that haven't really worked. There's been Watchmen that didn't really work. I guess Blade did work.
Sorry.
But
in general.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know, it's an interesting to see what's next. Like, I mean, Dredd, as far as we were concerned, worked, but it didn't find an audience. I don't know. Could this mean though that Dredd 2 they might be interested in Dredd 2 now?
Yeah, but then I feel like it is more character dependent. I think you can't underestimate the impact of that marketing campaign. Brought this character to so many people. And what I love about that marketing campaign, which it sounds a weird thing, like nobody loves a marketing campaign. Don't look at the Batman Superman going, oh, bloody love this. They use Turkish airline adverts for Gotham Metropolis. No, they're just tying. What's great about the Deadpool campaign is it gave you more Deadpool.
Yeah.
It was like a series of sketches that you can watch on their own. Like the Halloween thing is funny on its own, and it's kind of like deleted scenes, extra stuff, vignettes.
He became as ubiquitous as the, that's a good word to use in a superhero show, as the Anchorman guys did for Anchorman 2, where they were everywhere, but it was just done in a way that fitted the character a lot more. Wasn't it? They were much more careful about how they used him and where they used him and in what capacity.
Yeah, and they were doing like interesting drops, like doing something on Australia Day. It's very strange. And that's like
that was random, wasn't it?
It's one of the most viewed videos on IGN this year.
Yeah.
People really just wanted to see more, and it was like you weren't just seeing the same clips of the movie, which was good. Like you were getting original stuff.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons it did really well. So I think it would be a false conclusion just to say, because it has some swearing in it.
Yeah.
And it has some blood in it.
But they're already talking about an R-rated Wolverine.
Yeah.
But that might not be a bad thing, because people have been clamouring for that for a long time.
I think it would really suit that character as well. If you want to like really tap into the pain and the rage of that character, I think a R-rated Wolverine is a great way. It would be a great way to like for him to say goodbye to that character as well. Like almost do the ultimate incarnation of it.
But what about an R-rated X-Force? That's something that Simon Kinberg said in a Q&A recently, I think this week after the Deadpool numbers came out. That one, I'm not sure, it could form the third part of a Deadpool trilogy, I think, if Deadpool 2 brings in Cable.
I think it should establish some of the parts of that team and that universe. I think there's quite a lot to get up and running in one film, perhaps.
But it might be, like, what I was thinking is if they end, Hugh Jackman's last movie is the next Wolverine film, they could maybe in Deadpool 2 introduce a new Wolverine or an X-Force, one that he, it's interesting that we didn't see him interact with Hugh Jackman.
Even though he references him quite a lot.
I wonder if they're just, it's because they know that it's going to be a different Wolverine that Deadpool will ultimately interact with.
Yeah, and I think part of it also is like, just in case, obviously it's been proved spectacularly untrue, just in case there's bombs, or it doesn't do as well as we want it to the extent we're going to have more Deadpool, let's just keep him aside. And we talked about it in our review discussion. He was kind of maybe just kept on the side just to like see how he does. Like, here's your opportunity, go for it, kid. Yeah. And like he's done incredibly well. And on the show for like last year or so, we were like, who replaces Hugh Jackman in that universe? It's strange to think Deadpool might be one of the leading men of that universe now, to the point where he could be showing up in a lot of these X-Men movies because the public adore him now.
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Good on Ryan Reynolds as well.
Yeah, well, he stayed true, didn't he? He stuck to his guns. So it'll be interesting. So I guess the hope is that Hollywood doesn't just suddenly turn everything into an R-rated movie to jump on this bandwagon, but equally, I really hope Deadpool 2's R-rated. Yeah.
For the right films.
All right, should we do some feedback?
Yeah, so this is from Jonathan March from Nottingham again. Bloody hell. I emailed a few weeks back about Cable appearing in a follow-up Deadpool movie, and I mentioned my choice of casting, and you didn't read it out. Naughty.
Yeah, sorry.
Naughty. Well, this week has seen more people mention my pick, Stephen Lang, with the actor himself getting behind the idea. Do you guys think the Avatar actor has the chops to pull the character off?
Yeah, maybe. He's quite old.
He shouldn't get behind himself, though. I feel like that's a bit undignified. Hey, this guy's still available, not doing much.
Yeah, I mean, it's annoying we didn't read that out. We could have been ahead of the curve thanks to Jonathan. But is he too old? I mean, Jonathan talks about how they could kind of age him and start him off as a kid or whatever in the film, but I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of Stephen Lang.
Not very likeable.
Is that bad?
No, you don't have to like him.
He's big.
No pressure to like it. But that's going to be interesting. That you need like a really good straight man, I think.
Yeah, and he's definitely that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Mazzeo from New Jersey. We've got a few New Jersey emails in this week. Talks about old-timey superhero casting. He says Judy Holliday from Born Yesterday and It Should Happen to You could have been a great Harley Quinn in the 1950s. If the character had existed back then. I don't know if I agree, but I like it. I like that you've gone that far back.
Yeah. It's appreciated. Andrew also from the US, was just wondering if you have read or are reading Image Comics' Invincible by Robert Kirkman. Kirkman, well known for the Walking Dead comics and TV series, is a fantastic writer, he is, and has kept me invested in this comic for well over 10 years. It was one of the first comics I ever picked up and it's still my favourite to this very day. I feel that this book doesn't get the recognition it deserves and would love to hear you guys discuss it in an episode, maybe do an entire episode about lesser known comics or something like that.
Yeah, didn't a long time ago we do one on comics, lesser known comics that should be movies?
Yes.
Maybe we should revisit that, because obviously we could do that over and over again.
Yeah, and I think we're going to make a few changes to the show going forward where we discuss maybe old movies in more detail.
Yeah,
and
we've talked about that. And I think, where is it? I think Ryan, on that kind of subject, and at the end of his email, he said, can you guys branch out of Lego and maybe review some of the other superhero action figures like Hot Toys or the new sideshow Deadpool? Yeah, if you can buy them for us, or if we can get sent them, we could do something reviewing some figures.
I'm going to do some other stuff.
Cool. All right. Fist Dan Stevens is no more.
Yeah.
We killed it.
Yeah.
But there's still no announcement as to who's going to play Iron Fist in the TV show. And we've had your emails coming in with suggestions. So Tyler Sweeney, friend of the show, he thinks Michael C. Hall would be good. Maybe a bit old.
I think he's a bit old.
Bit old.
Sorry.
He has worked with the
Ageist.
showrunner, Scott Buck, but too old. Rich Davis says Tom Riley of Da Vinci's Demons. He was brilliant in Demons generally, but he particularly excelled at some pretty emotive scripts while still being able to display excellent comic timing on top of some brilliantly choreographed fight sequences.
Yeah.
He seems to be becoming a star, Tom Riley. He's in more and more
I don't really know
things.
much about him.
No.
Basically, we need someone also who's just good at punching stuff.
Yeah.
Let's not underestimate the value of the fist.
And as Rich says, he's British, and we all know that the Brits make the best heroes.
Yeah, best superhero.
Salam Udin, another friend of the show, he reckons Patrick J. Adams, who's in Suits, reckons he has the right look and kind of the temperament of his character would be right for the character of Iron Fist. But Salam, what he gives, he takes away, Salam, here. He says he just needs to hit the gym a little to get those Marvel muscles. Tough love. Al Patrickson says Tony Jaa, Jet Li, Donnie Yen, Jiang Wen, all four Asian actors, which would be an interesting...
Which has been rumoured.
Yeah, direction for the show to go in, maybe the right direction. He also suggests Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul was one of the first names that came up when we first started talking about this.
And finally, Justin Hymas says, very brief his email. No hello, no goodbye. He just says, I've said it once before, Aaron Paul for Iron Fist.
Slightly threatening.
Yeah. Now, what could we do about that? How could we get that campaign going, Dan? Any ideas?
There's probably one way.
What's that?
Let's ask him.
Have you heard of Iron Fist?
Oh, yeah.
Iron Fist.
Yeah.
That's a character there's going to be a TV show about in the Daredevil universe, and we did a campaign on the superhero show that we do on IGN to try and get Dan Stevens cast with the hashtag #FistDanStevens. He's just been cast. I think we helped. He just got cast in a different superhero show.
Yeah,
we're getting loads of emails now saying Aaron Paul should play.
I
Iron
don't think
Fist.
that hashtag helped him.
So if we did Fist Aaron Paul, then
Pause. I don't think that would help him.
But do you think Aaron would be a good fit for that kind of character?
As long as you don't put those words together again, I think it'll work out for him. I think that'll bring you to a completely different website. That'll mess up your cookies for a long time. Just saying. I don't know. Just a lot of pop-ups. Like, Aaron, what are you looking at? Dude, I didn't even click on this.
So I asked him, didn't I?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit awkward. He was quite jet-lagged.
He doesn't say much about it. I feel like he
was very, very jet-lagged. I had 15 minutes with him and Anthony, and it was tough. It was tough for me to do. It was tough for Dale through there to edit it together. And yeah, I think my bringing up a character he'd never heard of confused him. But Mackie seems to be behind the idea.
Mackie knows a lot about cookies.
So much so that actually as I was leaving the room, I brought it up again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty much done here, but can you go away and look up Iron Fist?
Yeah.
And can you put in a good word for him to be Iron Fist in the TV?
Fisting
check
Aaron
all day.
Paul.
It's Fist Aaron Paul.
Just cookies.
Fist.
Hashtag
yeah.
Fist Aaron
Fisting
Paul.
Aaron Paul.
You just took it.
Just took it to the next level, yeah.
Just cookies
Okay.
full of chaos. Just how do I get this off, Mike?
So what do you guys think? Fist Aaron Paul?
Yeah.
Is that going to be a thing?
Can be. You can make it into a thing.
Is he too old though?
No.
No, he's not too old. So yeah, I guess we need to tweet Marvel, tweet Aaron. He's on Twitter. I'm sure he'd really appreciate it.
Oh, he really would. Anthony Mackie would really appreciate it as well.
Yeah. Just, be careful with your cookies before you do it.